trauma healing can become a prison. And I think that most people who are on their trauma healing journey, who learn that their body holds like tremendous wisdom, maybe in many moments more wisdom than their mind, they build a prison for themselves. Another one. They say that the prison is in their heads, but in deeming the head, the mind, the thoughts less powerful than the body, they are creating yet another prison, because now the status quo is something like, I have to be regulated. I have to be in my body. And when I'm in my head, that's quote unquote bad. So I have to do all these nervous system techniques. I need to read like all the books in order to be really embodied, because God forbid if I have one thought that I identify with. This is the spiritual trap that most people on their trauma healing journey fall into. And honestly, while I'm speaking to you right now, I'm also in my own prison. And most of the time, I'm not even conscious of that. Because as I'm speaking to you right now, my prison looks as follows. I'm trying to speak to you in a way that is engaging, that like really gets you. For me, it's kind of weird to talk into a camera, so I have to like semi-imagine that you're sitting there listening to me. And I feel like I have to perform. I have to be in my body, I have to be like really pumped, and this energy has to translate into the video. But I think this is not good when it comes to creating a video. Like, of course, the energy that I want to bring across, that being there is not the problem. The problem is the relationship that I have towards myself in this moment. And the relationship that I have with me right now is probably the relationship that you have when you're watching this video as well. And I want to speak about that because many people suffer from this. Many people think they finally found the thing that will sanctify themselves, that will like finally provide them with the healing they were looking for, sometimes for all their lives. And what it does then is it creates another trap they fall into. It creates another prison. Because let's get into this. Because when people start their spiritual journey and their trauma healing journey, they talk about limiting beliefs, they talk about a dysregulated nervous system, they talk all of these things that are not really desirable. But here's my point. I think that in cutting these aspects of life off from yourself, you create a status quo that you're constantly chasing, and this is the danger. If I feel like, oh, a dysregulated nervous system is something bad, then I'm constantly worrying about being regulated. And the thing is, this doesn't work. And this is what like many years of emotional release work taught me, and working with hundreds of clients and all of these things. So to really understand this, we have to talk about the nature of emotion. So an emotion is energy in motion. It's like energy that is moving through you. And as I talk about the motion of the energy within me, my body starts moving. And what happens if we're traumatized is that the moving is stopping. Why is it stopping? Because we, at some point, learned that this movement within us, that way of spontaneously expressing ourselves, is in some way, shape, or form not wanted and threatening to the relationship we have to those around you, to those around us, and you as well. So we learn to repress these parts of ourselves in order to be in relationship. And this prison that we're building is a consequence of that. Because if we shut off parts from our consciousness, like the energy is flowing, and then there's a resistance happening. And this resistance here is there for a good reason. Because if this resistance wasn't there and the flow would just go on and we just would express our anger like unfiltered towards our parents, we think, like our nervous system thinks, so it doesn't think, but you get the idea. It's like simplified, but I want to bring the point across. Our nervous system perceives threat, because the ultimate threat for a child is to lose their parents and to lose the relationship. So it does everything in order to stay in relationship, even if it means cutting off a part of ourselves. And this barrier here, emotion is flowing, the emotional flow is stopped. This is shame. This barrier here is the thing that creates the belief, I'm not good the way I am. Because we learned that a part of ourselves is not good the way we are, but children have the tendency to generalize things, these kinds of beliefs. So we start to build a self-image that is built around the idea that we're not good the way we are and we should be someone else. And this is shame. This is a prison. And with all the useful nervous system regulation techniques and obviously somatic experiencing and the various trauma healing modalities, and I'm even teaching this work myself, so I'm not bashing against trauma healing work. This is not my intention, but I want to unravel and talk about like a hidden pattern that is not talked about enough in these spheres. And this is that nervous system regulation can be an expression of this blockage. For example, you're getting angry, you're getting dysregulated, the emotion stops flowing, and you think like, oh fuck, I'm dysregulated again. I need to do something about myself. Fuck, oh God, this is not good, this is not good. You're sort of panicking and the barriers build. What are you doing then? You're down-regulating your nervous system, even though maybe what the emotion needed, what your system really needed, was something very different. It was for the emotion to keep flowing, and instead of meeting a barrier, meeting open arms. So the emotion can flow into your heart and finally feel like, hey, it's good that I'm here. Because I truly believe, and we can talk about the parts work frame here, that the emotions we carry are parts of ourselves that have something really, really important to tell. And odds are that when you work on regulating your nervous system, when you try to meditate your emotions away and you're like, oh, I have to be in a meditative state all day and no, I'm dysregulated again and I have to this, like I have to change the way I eat, I have to work out more. All these things are fine. But I want to talk about that these can come from the belief that you're not good the way you are, and what you actually need is something within you or someone on the outside that is finally embracing you. That is telling you, hey, even though you're angry, and even though you cannot accept yourself in that anger, I'm here. So the emotion is flowing. And instead of there being a resistance, the resistance is removed, the emotion is released, and finally I can be myself. And this is the key point here. Can you allow yourself to be who you are? To let your emotion flow in the way they want to let your breath flow, like breathe the way it wants to even let your thoughts just think the way they want to think, to reclaim that autonomy that was taken from you in your childhood. This is so, so important. Because again, we can take this a little deeper. This emotion is a part. And in meeting that barrier, that emotion was cut off until it leaves completely. And this is not only a flow, this is a part of you. It's like a little person. It's a little inner child that now sits somewhere here. Oftentimes it's a cave. It's funny that this is, I think, it's probably the most darkest part of the frame. And these inner children, they are in the darkest parts of your psyche as well. So what are we doing here? Instead of deeming our dysregulated nervous system as something bad and down-regulating it, or trying to meditate or doing breathwork techniques, try to open up to the possibility that this state is okay the way it is. And that in that state, there's a deep, deep wisdom. In that anger, in that sadness, in that stress, is a part that just wants to be embraced and to be themselves. So there's a part in that cave. Oftentimes when we do parts work processes, we work with Jungian active imagination, we work with like hypnotherapy interventions. I don't want to get too technical here, but most of the times we work with these things, we find that the inner children are often in caves, or in locked childhood rooms, or sometimes it's also a forest or deep under the sea. Like all of these are symbols, like a closed room, a cave, for something that is not in our consciousness. It is far away from us. In IFS and internal family systems work, we call these exiles. And what we're due in order to heal these exiled parts of us, symbolically speaking, we're taking the torch of our awareness, We're going into these caves and we find the inner child that is waiting there. And it will look at us with like bright eyes and being like, oh no, fuck, there's another threatening person again entering the cave. And we're like, no, 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 no. This time, someone with an open heart is coming to you. I'm finally here. You're okay. I don't need you to be anyone else. I don't need you to become like super happy and joyous. Hey, if you're sad, if you're angry, if you're tense, that's okay. You can just be tense for a moment. Finally. I don't want to run away from you, and I don't want you to feel like you have to run away from me. I just want to be here with you. Just want to allow yourself to be. I want to listen to your stories because I truly believe you have something meaningful to say, and maybe something to say that I needed to hear for a long time. And more often than not, what you find, what you look for, you will find in the emotions that you avoid. And this is where it gets a bit more practical. So when you retrieve these parts of you, when you converse with them, and I have a couple of videos about that on this channel, how to do that like practically. When you converse with them, you find out that they have something important to say. They have a story, almost a part of your internal mosaic, of your internal puzzle that was missing. And you were thinking the whole time, like, why does something feel off? Why do I feel like I'm not really myself? And now you can imagine that there's not only one inner child hidden in a cave somewhere. Maybe an inner child is still in that classroom where it got bullied. It's the case for me. Maybe there's a child still in their childhood room, waiting for you, waiting for finally someone healthy, someone with bright, loving eyes to open up the door, to come in, and for the child to finally hear, hey, it's okay. The bad days are over. Come under my wing. I will take you with me and I will show you all the beautiful things in the world. You're special. You're special to me. You belong here. And I want to show you that the world is safe. And while I'm talking to you and while I am resonating with my body, because this is truly also a story that resonates with me, because I think we all have inner children locked up somewhere. So I'm talking to my inner children while I talk to yours as well, hopefully. What happens is magical. My nervous system is relaxing. Like, oof. A part of me really needed to hear that. And what happens then is I get relaxed and I can ask this part of me, what do you want to do? Like, what do you actually want to do? Because sitting in that cave is kind of boring, right? It's not really your thing, right? You don't want to be a child that sits in a cave. And then these children are getting goosebumps as I speak about this. My body is reacting strongly to this topic as well. The child says something like, I want to have fun. I want to flow with life. I want to play. And if I'm being honest to you right now, I didn't allow myself to play a lot in the recent weeks. And maybe you didn't as well. So that stress that I experienced while starting this video, or that was like lurking in my body, mind system, revealed its true nature, and that is a longing for joy. This is such an important point. Because if you're stressed, you can only be stressed if you internally long for something else. And your stress is trying to get you there, but it doesn't really succeed. So in that stress, a part is hidden that wants to uplift you to a more whole, I'm struggling with words because I almost said a whole new version of you that wants to uplift your frequency, but I don't really like these words. But I think you get what I mean, right? Yeah. So, when you're into nervous system regulation, that's totally fine. I do this myself. I did like a workout today. I did breath work. I just meditated for 20 minutes. But I really want you to question the motives behind that. Because ultimately, I really, really believe we're all here to bring all of our parts home. And to me, that means doing all the techniques, but not in order to get rid of something, but in order to be receptive towards that. I was just feeling really good while meditating. Honestly, I've been having a 10 out of 10 day. And then, but something really interesting happened. I was sitting there meditating, feeling like really blissful. And honestly, today was like really intense, but I don't know what's happening today. My eyes were flickering and all of this. It was crazy stuff. But I started, like, tears started coming up at some point. I was like, oh, I understand now, and I want to talk about this. Because this sad part finally felt like, hey, there's someone safe out there. I can finally show myself. I was like, yeah, that's beautiful. I'm joyous. I'm blissed out, so to speak. And that allows more of my parts to come in. It's like I'm opening up my arms in a big embrace, and all the little children are joining me. They're like drawn to the joy and to the bliss. This was a really beautiful experience. And there's no black and white thinking here. And that's, I think, the problem. It's either regulated or dysregulated. It's either I'm feeling good or I'm feeling bad. When I was sitting there, it felt like alchemy. It was like different colors of different watercolors mixing together and forming a new color. It was really, really beautiful. And I wish for you to have that same experience. You are okay the way you are. You are okay the way you are. Right now, as you're watching this video, nothing needs to change. Really. Tune into that. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.